And now, for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Furnishes this belt and therefore the mandatory challenger to Lomachenko here tonight. Round one begins. Lomachenko southpaw, Rodriguez conventional stance. First, yes.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you had 396 amateur fights. You've seen it all.
And so I think that attitude by him, plus the fact that he has...
What are the things he does so well, Roy?
Well, he's very consistent with his footwork. His footwork is always perfect. He's never off balance. He can...
Partially blocked right hand lead upstairs.
Yeah, he's working off his jab. Now he's using head movement along with the jab and throwing combinations to start to open Gammy up a little bit.
Multiply in combinations. You see the skill level, and it's breathtaking for guys like us who have been around the ring for a long time, at least as a punching weapon for the middle part of the fight. He used it to feint and did so brilliantly.
Yeah, Lomachenko's fought no softies in his 4 official professional fights
in the first couple of rounds. Now he is taking over in a very big way. Oh, what an uppercut.
These 2 rounds, it's been interesting. Lomachenko has not been able to control this yet, and Rodriguez is giving a good account of himself.
Featherweight. His timing and his movement, just superb.
Harold, 2 8-point rounds in a row.
Oh, yeah. You know, Robert Byrd took a point that
So Lomachenko showing us this fight. Yeah, the bruise on the middle finger, obviously not a factor here tonight.
This is far too much time, but he doesn't use that every time. He uses tech to decide which pitch he'll use at what time. Same thing Lomachenko is doing right here.
As he tells Rodriguez to keep his punches above the waistline.
Second time he's warned him already.
Good right uppercut by Lomachenko right there.
Jim, I have it same as Harold, 2 rounds to 0, but that first round was very close. I would give no argument to anybody who scored it for Rodriguez.
Cruz, who has held the title at 122, moving up to 126, is scheduled for 10.
Well, it's interesting that Rodriguez talked about maybe having a hand issue. Lomachenko hurt his left hand in his last fight. It was a bruise on the knuckle.
Beauty, and that's why he's already cracked my top 5 pound-for-pound list.
And you know, for a lot of people are seeing this, they've never seen him before, and this is a demonstration of just how good he is.
Well, at some point, against somebody, probably a bigger puncher than Rodriguez,
Lomachenko is pressing forward more than he did, let's say, in round 1 or 2. And when he does that, normally he is able to land with great proficiency. But
took a point in the round 5, so that made it 10-8 instead of 10-9. But in round 4, Vasiliy Lomachenko went that round so big, Jim, I had to score at 10-8.
I'm going to hit you with the other one when you do. So Lomachenko showing us that the education process continues in this his 5th or 11th professional fight.
They're making a street war here.
Now all of a sudden he's saying it's illegal. They really should change that rule and say...
For Rodriguez to survive, I believe, with Lomachenko going to his body like this, but he might make it out.
Rodriguez doing an effective job of covering.
Yeah, they sure are.
The irony being, of course, that Russell may have the fastest hands in boxing.
That's ironic.
But he wasn't able to land that night.
With his movement, more competitive with his punch combinations, and this could be a big problem. Like that.
Wow. Wow.
Same thing Lomachenko is doing right here.
Rodriguez grabs Lomachenko's left arm again. When a conventional fighter lines up against a southpaw like this, you look for the conventional fighter to try to fire the straight right hand. There's a right hand that landed for Rodriguez over the top of, it seems to me, as time goes on against Gamalier Rodriguez.
Yeah, he's getting more accurate, Jim, but he's also been hit harder than I've ever seen him hit before in this round.
Can't see him. The side-to-side movement is getting more dynamic, and Rodriguez is having trouble.
Talked about Lomachenko that sometimes doesn't get as much. We're going to have a point deduction.
That's all he needed.
Yeah.
1 point, low blow. 1 point, low blow. Swat that low. Keep him up.
And Salido was able to get a decision win against him in a badly refereed fight in Texas, in which Salido fouled Lomachenko over and over and over.
Yeah, it was.
And the punches that Rodriguez was able to land in the first couple of rounds, Lomachenko is now either slipping them or blocking them.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's gotten the scouting report, and he knows what to do.
And Vasily's father gave him a good bit of advice in the corner, told him not to go out and try to knock the kid out. Just box him, work the
Rodriguez has done that to the point where it would be that.
There's another low blow.
There you go.
I won't. Obviously, times have changed, Roy.
Yeah, times have changed because he learned a lot. And what he learned is...
Another thing Lomachenko does so well, cards, and Farhood has it 60-53, and Harold has it 60-52, and Lomachenko's just piling it up here.
Yeah, that body shot just almost dropped Rodriguez.
9, 8, 7, 6.
Count the punches against the conventional fighter. Oftentimes, their feet will come together, and generally speaking, the advantage is expected to belong, technically, to whichever fighter can keep his lead foot.
And doing it very hard, but not as sharp as he was in the first few rounds.
A couple of hard shots from Lomachenko there, but he might have a sense of what Bird was talking about.
Oh,
wow,
goodness.
that right hook is amazing. In his 9 Olympic bouts en route to 2 gold medals, and of course we all know that the Olympic scoring system has problems.
He didn't block that right hook then, but he took it very well.
But Salido is a good puncher who knocked out Juan Manuel Lopez twice, and those big punches did not get Lomachenko out of it.
That's what he wouldn't do in Texas, right?
That's what you got to do sometimes. Sometimes if a man won't stop hitting you low, let him see how it feels, and that will remind him.
He grabbed Lomachenko's arm again and got away with it because apparently it was on the other side of Bird and he didn't see it. But this is becoming a brutal display, and down goes Rodriguez on another combination from Lomachenko. I think the body shot put him down.
It was another body shot. That person hurt him really bad. That person hurt him really bad. Then he followed it with a straight left.
To see if Rodriguez can make it out of the round as Lomachenko runs across the ring.
As we head into these later rounds, another issue for Rodriguez is he has never been 12 rounds in his career. So these final rounds, it's another challenge for him.
Very accurate when he gets going, Al.
Lomachenko has tried to establish the jab, but he hasn't thrown it with a lot of conviction yet in this fight. It's a good weapon for him.
That if you had to go in the dictionary to define moves of boxing, you would find his picture in almost every one of them.
That's why he's called high tech.
Stop. Come in.
And Al Lomachenko says, are you going to penalize him again? And Bird is going to penalize him again. Another point loss for Rodriguez.
1 point, low blow.
Rodriguez, you know, he told us he thinks he belongs in the ring with Lomachenko. He didn't feel like he was coming here just to get a little exposure.
I think that was the most impressive performance so far. He was fighting a guy who may well have the fastest hands in boxing, and he made him miss all night long.
It was extraordinary.
He does not yet have a plan to live here in the United States. Goes back to Ukraine between his fights. Steve, how do you have it?
Oh, definitely.
A lot of people would have given up by now, being hit as many times as he has and as hard as he has.
Oh my gosh. Dominating him through the 12 rounds, winning every round, despite the loss of the use of his left hand. One of the things that Max Kellerman always talks about and marvels at, 50-44.
Now, you might be surprised there, Jim, when you see Harold score, but the rounds have been very one-sided ever since that first round. And when I look at
now, he moves left and sets up a combination there.
You know, much of what Rodriguez is doing in this fight against lesser fighters has worked just fine. And he's not to stop.
Al, that was a professional move.
The great Gil Clancy said, somebody hits you low, he'd tell his fighters, do the same.
Probably a book, too. Harold Letterman wants to make a point about low blows. Let's bring him in. Harold,
what's up? Byproduct, as you point out, of that fight against Orlando Salido when he didn't get help from the referee.
Ball, and your head goes, ooh, I snapped it back.
And that's a thing of experience, Jim. Anytime you find a good pitcher in baseball that's really experienced,
he senses a possible stoppage here.
And those left hands demonstrate his left hand is just fine.
106-83.
And what's instructive about those 32 punches, the number of punches thrown by Rodriguez has
what a couple of right hooks. What a couple of right hooks there. And Rodriguez is down for the second time.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
And that was
usual.
What's the limit for him? Can he become, in your view, the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in boxing?
Yes. 50 seconds in round number 9. Our referee in charge, Robert Byrd, reaches the count of 10. He is the winner by way of knockout. He is still the WBO featherweight champion of the world, Vasiliy Lomachenko.